One of those should sync. Hi! I know we're all worried about the state of the world right now, and we're all shut in our homes, but rest assured, Avid is still the industry standard. Yeah! This video is a tutorial on how to relink your media to your project, whether you're a Production 1 or a CAPSTONE. It goes from the relink all the way to Transcode. And you heard that right, you will have to re-transcode. At this point, I'm assuming you've already done 3 things. Number 1, that you've checked to see if your computer has at least 8 gigs of RAM. Now, the minimum Avid can run on is 8 gigs, but it's better if you have 16. It'll run a lot better, so if you can find a computer with 16 gigs, you probably want to download Avid onto that. Which brings me to my second point. You've downloaded Avid. If you're having trouble downloading Avid, just call Avid tech support.
No.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
Which brings me to our third point, and maybe the most important. You have one of your 3 non-co-located full media and project backups hooked into your computer. Now that all that's done, come on, step into my office. Alright, so we've opened Avid. We always want to open Avid first and not just our project file from our drive. You want to make sure that you're on external, as always. If you don't see your project here, you can go to your project directory. A lot of you have Macs, so it's going to look different than this, but locate your hard drive. Mine's called Big Boy because he's 4 terabytes. I am working on Andrew's CAPSTONE, so I would open his folder, go to my projects folder, and click OK. If you're CAPSTONE, you should see 2 projects here, your 4K project and your proxy project. If you're Production 1, you probably only have 1 project. CAPSTONEs, open your 4K project, and for Production 1, just go ahead and open the 1 project you work from. Our first step is to locate your original footage. Now, I organize mine by date. So this is where my original 4K footage lies. If you're a Production 1, just find the bin with your original HD footage. When you double click on your footage, it probably loads media unavailable. Hit this button down here, the toggle source record, and your media will pop up in your timeline. This is showing the media in your source window, and it will probably be red. If it's blue, things are linked. A lot of us have downloaded Avid Ultimate or a newer version that we're not used to working on because we have an older version at Belmont. The changes are mainly cosmetic, which means that everything's the same, it's just moved around, so you don't know where things are. The one good thing about it, though, is that you can change your clips to be any color you want, which will come in handy later. But largely, you're just going to have to kind of poke around and figure out where things are. When we relink it, it's going to turn blue like this, or another shade of blue if you have an earlier version of Avid. Next, we're going to pull up our source browser. So you can go to any open space in your bin, right-click, and go to Input, Source Browser. And this guy pops up. So in our source browser, we're going to locate the same footage that's in our bin in our media folder. Again, I organized mine by date. So you're going to go to your media folder. You're going to find the media that corresponds to the media in the bin you have open. So footage 117, footage 117. I organized mine by date, and there are 2 cards. So I'll go into the card folder, but you want to stop at the clips folder because this is what we're going to link. So if you go into your bin and you select the footage, you hit the clips folder and you hit link, it should repopulate your media. If you have 2 separate cards like me, just go back into the folder before it, select the next card, select the clips folder, and hit link. So then, when you're looking at your clip, it should be blue. So you're going to go through and you're going to do that for every original footage bin you have. Once you've relinked all of your footage, we're going to relink your sound. Relinking sound should be the same. Wrong. We imported sound, which means it's different. Welcome to Avid. What you're going to do is you're going to locate your sound bins. Again, I label them by the date. Open your first bin with production sound in it. This is where the colors come in handy. So as you can see, all of my clips are colored. How you do that is you just select everything, and then you right-click in this little box over here. And you can pick a rainbow of colors! So go ahead and open the folder that corresponds with the bin you currently have open. What we're going to do is take this audio and link it into our bin. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to relink all of my sound. You can see the link sound is a completely different clip than your imported ones, although they're labeled the same, and so that's why I went ahead and colored it, just to make sure there's no confusion. Once you have all of the sound imported in that bin, also linked to that bin, you can select all of your colored sound, right-click it, and go to Relink. Go ahead and leave it on Media on Drive, let it look for everything, and you hit OK. Once it's done loading, you can hit a clip, double-click it, which pulls it up in the source browser, and with your toggle button still on, you can see that it's blue, so it's been relinked. Once all of your imported sound is relinked, you can go ahead and click all of your non-colored sound, which is the sound you linked into the bin, and delete it. Just like for the footage, you're going to go through all of your bins with sound and do that same process to each until all of your sound is blue and online again. Now we've got our production audio relinked, our original footage relinked, now we can relink our synced footage. The way I organize things is I just throw all of my synced footage into a synced bin. Go ahead and open up your synced bin or whatever multiple bins your footage was synced in. For right now, you're just going to want to select the whole bin. You're going to right click and hit relink. Just like before, we're going to have Media on Drive selected, and we are going to hit OK. You're going to want to kind of click around in this bin and double check that everything did relink. I had a few clips that were either just missing, or the audio didn't relink for some reason, or the footage didn't relink for some reason. If I couldn't get them to relink, I would just go back and resync and replace them. So transcoding takes a while, and this is going to be different for production ones and capstones. If you're a production one, you're going to stay in the same project, so hold tight. If you are a capstone, what you're going to do is go ahead and close out of the bins in your project that are currently open. A fun thing that Avid Ultimate does is that if you click out of your bins or effect panels, they just go away. And if you press the big red X over here, the whole application shuts down. If you just want to move between projects, what you're going to do is hit Control-Shift-W or Command-Shift-W, and it's going to ask you if you want to close the project. You're going to say OK, and then it'll take you back to this screen. So now for capstones, we're going to hop, skip, and jump over to our proxy. Once your proxy project is open, you're going to want to find some open space in your bins window and right-click in that open space and go to Open Bin. Now what we're going to do is find your synced footage. So we're going to go out to the Projects folder. You're going to go into your 4K project, and you're going to find your bins. You can tell they're bins. This is what they look like on PC, but on Mac or PC, if they're a bin, they should have .avb. We're going to find our synced bins, and we are going to press Open. So if you're a capstone, right now you should have your 4K synced bin open in your proxy project. If you're production one, you should just have your synced bin open in your normal project. This is also kind of where personal preference comes in, because we're about to transcode all these clips. I think I had about 500 clips to transcode. I think I did like 2 batches of 100, and then I ended up doing like a batch of 200. You could try doing them all at once. I know that the 200 batch took a whole day and a whole night to transcode, so it's kind of whatever you're thinking, if you want to do them in batches of 30s or 50s or 100s, just so you can kind of go ahead and save what's already been transcoded and manage it. So when you have your clips selected, you're going to right-click them and go down to Consolidate/Transcode. Once you're here, you want to make sure you transcode them to your hard drive you're working off of. You also want to make sure you're not on Consolidate, that you're on Transcode. For capstones, the 115 codec is fine. Production ones, you might have a slightly different one. I would just go back and look at your workflow. Girl, you want goodness, that's not how you spell nothing. Once you're satisfied with all of the options on this screen, you're going to go ahead and hit Transcode. Now that things are transcoding, be prepared to wait for a while. Come in, check on it periodically, make sure everything's still transcoding. I would go ahead and pull up a long video on YouTube just to keep your computer away. So once everything's done transcoding, you're looking at a few new clips in your synced bin. Here I've transcoded one MOS clip and one synced clip. You can tell they're transcoded because they have the .new on the end. Now you're going to locate your original transcoded bin. So the bin where you stuck everything you transcoded before when you were on the server at school. I call mine transcoded. When you open your transcoded footage bin, you're not going to see your hard drive here under the drive like me. You're going to see CMB whatever drive you were on at Belmont. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your newly transcoded clips, which are going to have the drive that you are working off of, and you throw those in the same bin as your old transcoded footage. For MOS clips, you're just going to have a .new, and so you'll go ahead and take that clip. For your synced footage, you get 3 clips when you transcode. You get the transcoded sync clip, you get its audio, and a transcoded just footage clip. We only want the .sync.new. So we're going to take that and throw it into our transcoded bin, and these other extra things you can go ahead and delete. Make sure you only delete the master clips, never delete associated media, and hit OK. Make sure you save your transcoded bin and your synced bin after things transcode, because if for some reason Avid crashes right after you transcode, your transcoded clips aren't going to be saved, and you're going to have to transcode them again. Go ahead and throw yourself a little dance party for getting to this point. Yeah! Okay! That's where I'm ending this video. I would say reach out to Terry or maybe even me. Sometimes I can be helpful if you have any specific problems or questions, but you're not going to have any. It's all going to be great. It's going to work perfectly the first time, and you're going to have a great film.